This week in math, we are starting to learn about money. And today we are going to talk about the 4 different types of coins that we use in America for money. So the first coin is called the penny. And here is a poem to help you remember it. Penny, penny, easily spent, copper brown and worth 1 cent. So a penny used to be made out of copper, and the reason it's this size is because it would cost 1 cent to make a coin out of copper that was this big. Our pennies have Abraham Lincoln on the front, always looking at him from the side, and on the back, older pennies have the Lincoln Memorial, and if you look really, really closely, you can see a statue of Abraham Lincoln right in the middle of the memorial. But newer pennies have this symbol on them. Pennies always say 1 cent on the back side. So 1 cent right here or 1 cent right here. So you can tell how much a penny is worth. A penny is worth 1. Our next coin is called a nickel. And nickels used to be made out of a metal that was called nickel. And it took 5 cents worth of nickel to make a coin this big. So that's why nickels are this big. Here's the nickel poem. Nickel, nickel, thick and fat, you're worth 5 cents. I know that. The older nickels have Thomas Jefferson on them. But they started making newer nickels, and they still have Thomas Jefferson, but his face is just facing you as opposed to looking at him sideways. But these are both nickels, if he's looking sideways with his ponytail or if he's looking straight. Those are nickels. On the back of the nickel, all nickels have this building on the back, and this building is called Monticello, and it's the house that Thomas Jefferson lived in Virginia, and it also says 5 cents right there. So you can remember that a nickel with Thomas Jefferson has 5 cents and Monticello on the back. The next coin is the smallest coin, and it's called a dime. And the reason the dimes are the smallest, so you can see how much smaller they are than nickels or than pennies. Dimes are the smallest is because they used to be made out of silver, and silver was expensive. So they could only make a coin that was this big and have it be worth 10. So the dime poem says, dime, dime, little and thin, I remember you're worth 10. A dime is thinner than a nickel. You can see the nickel is kind of fatter, and a dime is thinner. On a dime, on the front, all dimes have Roosevelt on the front. He was a president. And on the back, they have a torch and some different leaves. And it says at the bottom, 1 dime. So dimes are the smallest ones, and they are worth 10 because they used to be made out of silver, and silver was very expensive. The last coin that we have, that we're going to learn about in first grade, is called a quarter. And quarters are the biggest ones. It says, quarter, quarter, big and bold, you're worth 25, so I'm told. So you can see how much bigger a quarter is than a dime, or you can see how much bigger a quarter is than a nickel. So quarters are the biggest. On the front of the quarter is George Washington. On the back of the quarter, if you have older quarters, you will have an eagle on the back. If you have newer quarters, you will have quarters that have designs from each of the 50 states. So this quarter is Wisconsin, like that. This quarter is New Hampshire. But each of the 50 states has a quarter with a special design on the back. But the older quarters, they have the eagle on the back. So now we know about our 4 coins that we have. We have pennies that are worth 1. We have nickels that are worth 5. We have dimes that are worth 10. And we have quarters that are worth 25. This week, we are going to be practicing recognizing these coins, knowing them, and knowing what their words are, knowing what they look like, and doing a bunch of different games that will help you practice knowing which one of these is a penny, which one is a nickel, which one is a dime.